Suppose this series is given like this: 1 plus 1 by 4 power 2 by 3, 1 by 9 2 by 3 plus 16 2 by 3 plus so on up to infinity. So what is the first step? What is the first step is just find the nth term. If you are able to find the nth term, then this is very simple. So try to find the nth term. Try to find the nth term. करो सभी लोग, try to find nth term of this. I give 2 minutes. Take 2 minutes and try to find nth term. Try to find the nth terms. So this is a question. Anyone? Anyone? What is nth term?
Sir, 1 upon n square.
1 upon n raised to power 4 by 3.
वो मैंने hint दिया हुआ है थोड़ा सा, ठीक है? He also gives some hint how to find nth term. Okay, so it can be written as 4 is written as 2 power 2, 2 power 2. 9 can be written as 3 power 2. 16 can be written as 4 power 2. So power 2 and 2 by 3, it becomes 4 by 3. Similarly 3 power 4 by 3, and similarly it 4 power 3 by t. So this one can be written as 1 power 4 by 3. So this can be written as 1 power 4 by 3. So it starts from 1. It starts from 1, 2, 3, 4, and n term is n power 4 by 3. So which test is applicable if is question like this? Summation and something power in the denominator, 1 by n power p. So by p test. So we compare it with p. So in this case, p test, p is 4 by 3. Then check this is greater than 1 or less than equal to 1. This is greater than 1. So by t test, the given series is convergent. So it may be 2 marks question. So it depends only the nth term. If you able to find the nth term, this is very simple question. Try one more question. So this is a question: cot inverse n square. So this is a question. Test the convergence of the series. Cot inverse n square. Cot inverse n square. Cot inverse can be written as tan inverse 1 by n square. Anyone? How it can be written as like this? Cot inverse n square can be written as tan inverse 1 by n square. We can prove it. Suppose it is cot inverse n square. Suppose we take it equal to y. Suppose then take cot to this side. So this is become n square equal to cot y. Suppose we take reciprocal, it become 1 by n square. 1 by n square and 1 by cot y. 1 by cot is 10. Cot is reciprocal of 10. So it becomes 10 y. Again find the value, take tan to that another side. So this is become tan inverse 1 by n square. So again y equal to y. So cot inverse n square can be written as tan inverse 1 by n square. Clear? So same we use here to solve this question. Cot inverse n by square can be written as tan inverse 1 by n square. So this is some different type of question. So we have this formula: limit theta tends to 0, tan theta by theta. Anyone, what is the value of this tan theta by theta? What is the value of this? Limit theta tends to 0, tan theta by theta. This is equal to
1, sir.
1.
1.
Similarly, you also know this formula: limit x tends to 0, sine x by x, sine x by x. This is also equal to 1. So we apply this formula. It means theta remains same. So whatever the theta is there, same theta is there. So now in this case, here theta is 1 by n square. So multiply by 1 and by 1 by n square, divide by n square. So this is your an. So this is your an. So what is the power? What is bn in this case? We take bn is 1 by n square. We take bn is 1 by n square because we take bn is always. We are applying comparison test. We are applying comparison test here. Now what is the comparison test? Divide an by bn. When we divide a and b, and this 1 by n square, 1 by n square is cancelled out, and what is left? Tan inverse 1 by n square, 1 bata n square. So tan inverse 1 by n square, 1 bata n square. Now take limit n tends to infinity. So limit n tends to infinity here, and tan inverse 1 by s. Put 1 by n square equal to h. If 1 by n square equal to, if n tends to infinity, then h tends to 0. Because n tends to infinity, we put 1 by n square equal to h. So when we change this limit, when n tends to infinity, h tends to 0. So it become limit h tends to 0, tan inverse h bata h. And what is the value of this tan inverse h bata h also? This is also 1. We can solve with the help of L'Hospital rule, and this is equal to 1, which is finite and non-zero. Which is finite and non-zero. So therefore, by comparison test, summation a and summation b and hello, हाँ जी.
हेलो सर, वो आपने एच एच टेंस टू जीरो इसलिए लिखा है क्योंकि 1 बाय इनफिनिटी 0 होता है इसलिए लिखा
How? Because they
ओके
to remove this limit, change infinity to 0. So I write put 1 by n square equal to h. So it become finite. So by comparison test, which is finite, so by comparison test, summation an and summation bn are converge and diverge together. So therefore by p test, now 1 by n square, 1 by n square by p test, this is convergent. So therefore this series is convergent. ये मैंने वैसे ही हिंट लिया है, ये अपने आप कर लेना, वैसे ही हिंट सा दिया है कि how to convert. This is some, you have to read one time this question, ठीक है? Otherwise it is very difficult to solve. So I take this example, cot inverse n square. Clear? Now this is a, please note down this formula also, log 1 plus x. I give one question related to log. In that question, we have also apply this this formula. So log 1 plus x formula क्या होता है? X minus x square by 2, not factorial, only 2, alternate term, plus x cube by 3 minus x4 by 4. Next क्या होगी? x5 by 5. So this is a formula for log 1 plus x. Whatever be written here, so there है, then power, cube and so on. ठीक है? So यहाँ से आज आपका हमारा लेक्चर शुरू होता है. जो पुराना कराया, that is only for revision. So now I start the lecture. Next test is ratio test. D'Alembert's ratio test. So first of all, there is 2 marks question, define ratio test. So what is the ratio test? Again, if summation an is a positive term series, again any positive term series is given, and limit n tends to infinity an bata an plus 1. So in previous question, in case of comparisons test, there is bn, but in case of ratio test, there is a just one term more than an plus 1. Next term to an is an plus 1. So we divide an by an plus 1 and put the limit, and we get some answer. If this answer is greater than 1, if this answer is greater than 1, we then say series is convergent. Okay? If this answer, after putting the limit, answer is less than 1, then we say this series is divergent. But if answer equal to 1, if after putting the limit an by n plus sometime answer equal to 1, then this test fails. So we apply some other method. So this is ratio test, very simple definition. That summation a and b a positive term of series. Then in this case, we divide an by an plus 1 and then take limit n tends to infinity. And convergence and divergence depend upon the dat L. If dat L is greater than 1, then it is convergent. This is very important test. ये सभी में लगना है, जितने भी मेथड होंगे सभी मेथड लगेगा. So if L is less than 1, then it divergent. When ratio test fail, when n equal to 1. Now, on question of this, suppose this is a question.
सर
अब ध्यान से समझना मेरी को. हाँ जी.
सर n टेंड्स टू इन्फिनिटी है या फिर 0 है सर?
Infinity, infinity. N is always infinity. ठीक है. Suppose now this is the question. अब ध्यान से सुनना सभी लोग. Suppose examine the convergence of series. There is nothing written like which test. It may be comparison test, may be p test, may be root test. अब इसको अंडरलाइन करना है. कॉपी में जो भी मैं बताता हूँ उसको लिखना सभी लोग. How you can, कि आपको कैसे पता चलेगा कि which method is applicable to this question or not. Suppose now question is 1 square dot मतलब multiply 2 square 1 factorial plus 2 square 3 square 2 factorial 3 square 4 square 3 factorial. So there is 1 2 3 4. So another term is there is n square square, and there is 1 greater than there. If there is 1 there is 2, if there is 2 there is 3. So there is n plus 1 and power is again remains same. There is no problem in, and if any problem in finding the nth term, anyone have problem to finding the nth term, because the nth term, that is, otherwise it is very difficult if you have confusion to find the nth term. So now this is the sign of factorial. There are two sign of factorial like this, or you can also write factorial like this. Dot. These are the two symbol of factorial. So this is 1 factorial, 2 factorial, 3 factorial. So this is n factorial. Now this is a question. No anyone. Suppose this is a question now. Now, is this question can be solved with the help of comparison test? How you know about this? This question can be solved with the help of comparison test or not? So note down karo. If there are some factorial terms in the nth term, sometimes, not all the time, 99% cases, if there is factorial term, मैं चीजें बताऊंगा कि when we cannot apply comparison test. So first thing is, if there is some factorial in nth term, then we mostly do not apply comparison test. Then we apply next test. After comparison test, next test is ratio test. If ratio test fail, then next test. If that test fail, then next test. So first circle है ये बिल्कुल. The first test is always check the question with the help of comparison test only. Try to solve the question with the help of comparison test. So how you can identify from the nth term is this test is applicable or not? If there is first case, I discuss first case, if there is any factorial term present in the nth term, then it is difficult to solve with the help of comparison test. So you avoid comparison test in this case and go to next test. And next test is ratio test. And now what is the ratio test? So there is n. So here is, so n square. आज 2 लेक्चर होंगे, दूसरा लिंक मैं भेजूंगा जब मैं खत्म हो जाएगा. ठीक है. n square n plus 1 square n factorial. So this is your AN. So this is your AN. Now how to find a n plus 1 term? Just replace n by n plus 1 or put n equal to n plus 1 in nth term. We find the next term, an plus 1. So just replace this n. When we replace this, replace only n by n plus 1. So when I replace this n by n plus 1, it becomes n plus 1 square. So n, if I replace this n, so this become n plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. We are replacing n by n plus 1. So n plus 2 square. So there is n factorial, there is n plus 1 factorial. Clear? So this is very simple to find n plus 1 term. Just replace n by n plus 1 in the nth term. Clear? So just replace n by n plus 1 term, n plus 1 term. Now, before solving it, suppose any so 8 factorial or 8 factorial. we can write 8 factorial like this, 8 into 7 into, we can write like this, 8 into 6 factorial. Any problem? ये clear है ना सभी को? We can write 8 factorial, 8 into 7 into 6 factorial.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, suppose there is 10 factorial. So we can write into 10 and 1 less than it. 1 less than 8 factorial. ठीक है? Similarly, if there is n plus 1, so according to this formula, n plus 1 common, take common, and 1 less. What is 1 less n plus 1? That is n. So n plus 1 factorial can be written as n plus 1 into n factorial according to this concept. Okay? So similarly, if there is n factorial, suppose there is n factorial but n minus 1 factorial. Suppose this is there. So which is bigger? N is bigger than, which is greater? N is greater or n minus 1 is greater? So greater factorial can be break into smaller ones. So it can be written as n into n minus 1 factorial, just less than 1. 1 n minus 1 factorial. To cancel out this, we use this concept. So if there are two type of factorial in the denominator, so we try to cancel out with the help of this formula. Okay? So same I apply in this method. So now after finding an and an plus 1, now divide an by an plus 1. So divide an by an plus 1. First this term remains same. When we divide, this denominator become numerator and numerator become denominator. Clear? So when we divide an by n, there is no change. We write an plus terms main, multiply. So this ऊपर चला जाएगा, ऊपर चला जाएगा, रिवर्स हो जाएगा, n plus 1 factorial n plus 1. तो देखो whichever is cancel out कर दो, n plus 1 square is cancel out, n plus 1 square is cancel out. So here is n square is left. So this, now again there are two factorial. This is very important to cancel out factorial. How to cancel out factorial? So there is n factorial, there is n plus 1 factorial. So n plus 1 is greater than, so we reduce this. So it become n plus 1 into n factorial. So this n plus 1 into, so this n plus can be n plus 1 into n factorial. Now this n factorial is cancelled. So what is left? 1 is left, n square. 1 n plus 1 from here and n plus 2 square is here. Okay? Now again take maximum power of n common from the numerator and maximum power of n common from the denominator. So if I take n common, so already there is n square, it become n cube. So it become n cube 1 plus, the rest is only calculation. The rest is very simple. Now from here, what is, if I take n common, n square is common. N square is common, 1 plus 2 by n. So this is cancelled. So 1 n is left above. 1 n is left. So after calculation, put the limit n tends to infinity. When we put n tends to infinity, it become 1, it become 1. But this infinity, when we put this, answer is infinity. So an answer is infinity, but it is greater than 1. कुछ भी आ जाए, suppose it may be infinity, it may be 100, maybe 5,000. But your question is check just it is greater than 1 or less than 1. So infinity is greater than 1. If answer is infinity, that is okay, no problem. Infinity is greater than 1. So if infinity is greater than 1, then by ratio test, if L is greater than 1, then therefore by ratio test summation an is converged. So this is your ratio test. Okay? Any problem in ratio test? Clear? So what is the difference between ratio test and comparison test? Anyone?
सर इसमें an upon an plus 1 हो.
First formula is different, and how to know from the question which test is applicable? I tell one thing only. If there is any factorial term is given in the nth term, then avoid comparison test. Try another test, that is ratio test. Second test, but the second test is ratio test. Now I give one more example. Suppose this is a question: 1 plus 2 power p, 2 factorial. Again factorial term is there. 3p 3 factorial, 4p 4 factorial, so it can be written as 1p bata 1 factorial. So it starts from 1 2 3 4, so another term is n. So p is there, so p is there. So it can be done 1 factorial, 2 factorial, 3 factorial, 4 factorial. So this is n factorial. Okay? So this is n term. Now again factorial term is present here. So we avoid comparison test. Now apply next test. That next test is comparison test. Oh, ratio test. So for ratio test, we have to find an plus 1. So what is an plus 1? Just replace n by n plus 1 in the nth term. So it become n plus 1p, n plus 1 factorial p. Now what is the next? Now divide an by an plus 1. कई बुक्स में उल्टा लिखा होता है ए एन प्लस अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट क्वेश्चन इज आल्सो चेंज अकॉर्डिंग टू वैल्यू ऑफ एन बट वी ऑलवेज यूज ए एन बटा ए एन प्लस 1 ए एन इन द न्यूमरेटर एंड ए एन प्लस 1 in the denominator. Again a n plus remains same, multiply this, reverse हो गया ये n plus 1 factorial. Again we cancel out factorial, so it n plus 1 factorial can be written as n plus 1 into n factorial. ठीक है, so n factorial is cancel out, n factorial is cancel out. So what is left? N power p, n plus 1, n plus 1 power p. So again take n common from here because we have to put the limit infinity, so there must be in the form of 1 by n. So take 1 by n is common, so n power p is already there, so n 1 plus 1 by n. So if I take n common from here, it also power p. So n power p is common. So this is 1 by 1 power, यहाँ p होगा p. ठीक है? So this np is also cancel out. Again take limit n tends to infinity. So what is the answer? Again when we take limit n tends to infinity, this is 1, this is 1, but again there is n. So when we put n equal to infinity, again answer is infinity. So check which is infinity is greater than 1. So therefore by ratio test L is greater than 1. This series is converged. Okay. Now again there is factorial term, so that's why we do not apply comparison test, we go for ratio test. Okay. Now second type. So I discussed first type. If there are only 3 types only, no problem. The first type, there is factorial term is there, and try to avoid comparison test. Preference is always given to comparison test. If question is solved with the preference is always to first test only. So first test is comparison test. If we not solved by comparison test, then only go to the next test. Next test, that is ratio test. Okay? If we do not solve with the help of ratio test, then go to next test. You'll be next try. Okay? So it is sequence wise. So next question is like this question. Now everyone try, I give 2 minutes, try to find the nth term of this. This nth term is very, very important. I did not discuss the nth term of this type of question. Try to find the nth term of this series. Anyone? How to find the nth term of this series? Mostly 70% student write wrong nth term in this case, in this type of questions. So I give 2 minutes. Try. Copy है ना सभी के पास?
Yes, sir.
Try
Yes, sir.
to write the nth term of this question. If you write nth term, then only calculation is left. Nothing is left. Only nth term is important in all the questions. Okay? So, anyone, what is the nth term? कोई तो बताओ. Find the nth term. वो है कोई कि नहीं? No? चलो छोड़ो, टाइम वेस्ट करो. So this type of repeated terms, in this case 2 by 1 is repeated in this. 2 by 1 repeated is there. Now the second term is 2, 5, 8, 1, 5, 9. Okay? Now in the third term, It remains same. 258, 159 is same, and add only one term is there. Now anyone, what is the next term? Try to write the next term. What is the next term? This term remains same first. This term remains same.
14.
2, 5, 8. First write this term. 11, then 1,
14.
5, 9, 13. So this is difference of 3. I think this is difference of 3. 8, 3, 11, 11, 3, 14. ठीक है? Again, now the difference is 4. 1 for 5, 5 for 9, 9 for 13, 13 for 17. So this is the next term. ठीक है? So these type of repeated term, these are very important questions. Repeated term, in which terms are repeated. So this term repeated in next term. So when I write the n term, so ये इतना तो आएगा ही आएगा, इतना तो आएगा ही आएगा. n term कैसे निकालेंगे? AP series. This is AP series. 2, 5, 8, 11. What is कौन सी series है? This is AP series. So A is 2, A is 2, and D is 3. So what is n term? 2 plus n minus 1 into 3. When I multiply, so this become 2 plus 3n minus 3. So it become 3n minus 1. So इसके आगे क्या आ जाएगा? ऐसे करके 3n minus 1. मैं लिखने लगा हूँ अब इसको. So these are repeated terms. So if terms are repeated, then we cannot use comparison test. So write second formula. So if terms are repeated, then we cannot apply comparison test. So repeated terms. So what is n term in this case? So this thing remains same, 2, 5, 8, so on. Find this. How to find this? With the help of AP series, that is n term. अभी मैंने find की थी n term. ठीक है? Similarly, so this type of repeated type of question, 1, 5, 9. This is n term, 1, 5, 9, 13, so on. So 4n minus 3. How to find 4n minus 3? Again apply AP series. AP series in this case, now this is in this case A is 1 and D is 4. Okay? D is 4. So apply A plus n minus 1 into D, that is 4. When we multiply, it becomes 4n minus 4, 4n minus 4, and what is A? What is A is, that is 1. So 4n minus 3. So this is very very important repeated term question. ठीक है? नहीं तो स्टूडेंट बस इतना ही लिख देते हैं, पूरा क्वेश्चन सही होगा बट आंसर मार्क्स कितने मिलेंगे? 0. ठीक है? So try this. Remember this type of term, that is called repeated term. ये करने के बाद में नेक्स्ट लेक्चर डालूंगा, उसको लिंक को ज्वाइन करना. ठीक है? उसमें भी ये अटेंडेंस लगेगी. ठीक है? So now what is a n plus 1? So in this case we cannot apply in repeated terms, we cannot apply comparison test. So next test कौन सा होता है? Then ratio test. Ratio test fail only when answer is 1. Otherwise ratio test is applicable to all the questions. So now what is n plus 1 term? N plus 1 term means n term remains same. N term remains same. Just one term more than it. So how to find more than t? Just change n to replace n by n plus 1. So there is 3n minus 1. So when we replace n by n plus 1, so it becomes 3n plus 3 minus 1. So when we calculate, this is 3n plus 2. Similarly, we find 4n plus 1. So any problem in finding the nth and an plus 1 term?
सर
हाँ जी,
हेलो.
हाँ जी बोलो.
हाँ सर, इस क्वेश्चन में फैक्टोरियल है नहीं सर, तो इसमें रेशियो टेस्ट इसमें उसी से हो जाएगा ना कंपैरिजन टेस्ट से?
वही तो बता रहा हूँ. If this is the second type, the first type if there is factorial term is given, then we cannot apply comparison test. Second case is when terms are repeated in n term. If n term is repeated, this is repeated na. So in this case we cannot apply comparison test. So we cannot take n common from here. ले सकते हैं n? No, we cannot. So when terms are repeated, when we find any term of repeated series, then comparison test is not applicable. We cannot apply. ठीक है? Clear है सभी को? So this is repeated. समझ लगी what is a repeated series? In which third term depends on the second, fourth term depends on the third, and so on. So now if we divide this, now we write an बटा an plus 1, all these are cancel out and reverse होगा इसको तो 4n plus this is first write an multiply this reverse बटा this, so this is cancelled with this, always these term are cancelled, only this term is left. 4n plus 1 बटा 3n plus 2. Now take 4n common from here, 3n common from here, 4 बटा 1 1, n is cancelled out. So when we take n goes to infinity, this becomes 0, this becomes 0. So what is left? We left with 4 by 3. We left 4 by 3. Now check, 4 by 3 is greater than 1 or less than 1? So 4 by 3 is greater than 1 because 1 point something. So therefore by ratio test, this series is convergent. So this series is convergent. ठीक है?